Welcome Raiders to another Raid Shadow Legends video, and in this one we're going to be talking about the Xenomorph and the Predator and giving you my thoughts on their skill kits and if they're worthy of actually building and using. So this is the Xenomorph for the Alien Earth FX collaboration. Let's look at what the A1 does. It's going to be tail stab. It attacks one enemy, places a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns, then places 3 5% poisons debuffs if this attack is critical. So if it's not critical, you get 1 poison, and if it is, you get 3. Now 3 is a lot for an A1. That is really good. There's A3s and A2s that put that many. So wow. And that's every single time the A1. That's from a counterattack, that's from an ally attack, that's from the regular attack. Also places a perfect veil on this champion for 2 turns. Not 1 turn, 2 turns on A1 is pretty good. Alright, let's look at the A2. Infestation. Attack one enemy before attacking. Places a stun debuff and an infest debuff on the target for 2 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted if this champion is under a perfect veil buff. Okay, first of all, I love that it does it before attacking, and then second of all, I love it that it does it for 2 turns. What? 2 turn stun on a 3-turn cooldown? That is really good. And then of course the infest debuff, having that like splash damage based on max HP or not if it's in PvP, right? Based on 50% I think of their health. It's pretty cool, and it can't be resisted if he's under perfect veil. Which he gets perfect veil off the A1, and I think he gets it where we can see it right here on the A3. Also says places a true fear debuff on all other enemies for 1 turn. So he's technically putting AoE CC, but the other ones are RNG, right? But true fear can also make you miss your turn, but you also get locked out if you get true fear. That is pretty nice. This debuff cannot be resisted to this champion's under perfect veil. That is nice. That is nice. Now you still have to build accuracy for the A1 though, but that just helps so you don't get 3%ed. So you always get the stun as long as you don't get weak hits, right? Passive effect: revive this champion with 50% HP and 50% turn meter whenever an enemy under an infest debuff dies. Okay. A3, that's 2 books and then 1 cooldown, so it's a 3-turn cooldown. Rip and Claw attacks one enemy 2 times, deals 15% more damage for each poison debuff on the target. Also places a perfect veil buff on this champion for 2 turns. Okay, that's a 3-turn as well. So everything basically puts veil on you except for the A2. So you get veil on the A1, veil on the A3. And then A2 is like, oh, you got veil? You get all this extra beautifulness. So it's really good, actually. Really good. 15% for each poison debuff on the target. I mean, you can put technically 10 poisons. So it's 150% more damage. You probably wouldn't bring 10. You'd probably bring decreased defense and weaken. And then the other 8 debuffs would be poisons. Still pretty good. Still pretty good. Let's look at the passive here. Caustic Blood. Whenever this champion is attacked, has a 25% chance of placing another 5% poison debuff on the attacker. Wow. Okay, that's a lot of poisons. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked if the attack is critical. Interesting. So if they attack us, they're guaranteed to get it. It says this debuff cannot be resisted or blocked. Wait, so does that go through Stone Skin? If it can't be blocked, it will block with debuffs buff doesn't stop it, and Stone Skin will stop it, right? Interesting. So if I build a slow, if I build a super slow, and let them poison themselves, and let them get lethal dose themselves, and Arachno Elixir themselves. I have to look into that. But of course, that's pretty much for like when a boss crits you or in PvP. If you want to use them in PvP, you can do a little bit more poisons. Mostly all the poison going to come from the A1, right? Or other champions. If an enemy is under poison debuff placed by this champion, oh, if an enemy is under a poison debuff placed by this champion, they decrease their defense by 20%. Ooh, that is nice. That is nice because that's gonna help out your nukers. If you have other damage characters and they need to do more damage, either in PvP or PvE, that's gonna help out a lot. So you can do more. It's gonna be good for clan boss. Could be good for like Amius. Could be good for Iron Twins, Shogun, Dragon. Can't poison Ice Golem anymore. Probably Doom Tower bosses as well. I wonder. I'm gonna see how I can get that to. I'm curious. That's a very nice passive. Why does it have a chance though? Oh, that when attacked, you can book it up to 50% chance to place a 5% poison. That's a lot of poisons the passive can stack, and it's pretty nice. All right, let's look at the next champ, which is gonna be the Predator. Predator Badlands. This is the Heroes, I guess, Heroes Pass or Heroes, for that you can purchase, right? Just like Xena and He-Man, which I like my He-Man still. I still use them from time to time, but not as much. But Xena, I barely use, man. And I paid full price for Xena day one, $60. So I regretted that. I won't do that again. Wrist Blades attacks one enemy, heals this champion by 30% of damage dealt. Okay, so it basically has a free lifesteal in his A1. Has 3 books up to 30%, so the A1 might hit really hard. Whenever this champion successfully evades an enemy's skill, and all of its counterattacks with this skill. So okay, they have to evade a skill and all of its accompanying effects, then they counterattack with this skill. Okay. Wish it would have been a multi-hitter, right? Would have been nice. You can counterattack certain champs, maybe like Rotos or other stuff. Smart Disc. Attacks all enemies 2 times. After hitting the initial selected enemy, all other enemies will be hit in a random order. For the first hit, the damage received by initial selected enemy will be decreased 75%. Each subsequent enemy hit. Okay, so it's like a chain lightning. If you remember, like chain lightning skills in other games, you're the first target gets the most brunt of it, and then as it goes, targets it gets less. That's very interesting. Makes me kind of wonder what if there's only one enemy, right? I guess you just hit them for that extra boost, and then they just get blown up, huh? Each subsequent enemy hit following the initial will receive 15. Yep, I read that. Reduce a 15% bonus damage. Also destroys each enemy's max HP by 30% of damage dealt up to 50%. Hey, you can destroy Amius's max HP. You can destroy Borgoth the Scarab King, right? I mean, who really having trouble there, but there are some people that do have trouble there. For the second hit, the damage received by initial selected enemy will be increased. Okay. After each hit will be receive 15% more damage bonus up to 75%. Okay. This attack ignores 15% of each target's defense if the champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil. I guess both of these new characters like to be under Veil or Perfect Veil. Very, very interesting. Okay. Next, that's on a 3-turn cooldown. Hits twice, too. AoE is pretty decent. Combastic Throw. Attacks one enemy before attacking. Places a Hunter's Gaze debuff. This is a new thing that everybody likes, right? Because Hunter's Gaze lets you ignore like block damage and killable. Lets you like nothing can stop it, right? Like any added stuff cannot stop the damage that you're doing. So it's really cool. This debuff cannot be resisted if this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil. Ooh. If this attack kills an enemy, places a block revive debuff on the target and a Hunter's Gaze debuff on a random ally. The Hunter's Gaze debuff cannot be resisted as this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil buff. Okay. If this attack does not kill an enemy, place a Perfect Veil on this champion and fill the turn meter. So he has block revive, you got the Hunter's Gaze, and you can spread to Hunter's Gaze. It can be cleansed. It's not protected, right? So it can be easily cleansed passively or actively from a skill. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the next one. Yeah, Youja cloak, or is it Auta cloak? At the start of each round, places a perfect veil on it. Okay, wow. So he gets a free perfect veil at the start of each round. Before this champion takes a turn, also has a 15% chance to evade an enemy skill and all of its common effects. This initial chance reduces to 0 after this champion's first turn in a round. Whenever this champion kills an enemy, grants this champion 20% chance to evade enemy skills and accompanying effects up stacks up to 60%. So as you kill enemies, you'll start becoming scarier and scarier because then you won't be able to target. Which makes sense. If you're a predator and you're starting to get your kills as a predator, it would make sense that you become a stronger predator. And then HP in arena battles by 35% because this is an HP nuker. I'm considering, huh? HP damage character. Let me check. I'm actually curious. Let's see. Is it in game? It is HP. He's an HP lizardman, and the Xenomorph is a dark elf. Um, dark elf legendary. Just as attack, but it's magic attack. Yeah. The abilities look pretty cool. Like I like the way they look. A little circular. Caustic Flood looks pretty decent. What's their base stats? Okay, 10 free act, 102 speed, 1365 attack is kind of low. They gave him a lot more HP though. As a nuker, yeah. Why is attack so low? I guess because he has so many poisons, so much multipliers. There's no point. All right, let's look at his base stats. Hosh! Yo, he has 26,000 base HP. That is kind of crazy. 98 speed is not that great though. 40 res. Almost like 1150 defense, so almost 1200. He's very, very tanky. He is a 133 champ as well. I just don't like the A1. The A1 has a cool passive, but the A1 just only healing, like nothing else is so like 2022, bro. It's like, damn. All right, well, I want to look through one more. Um, I don't know what to see which one. I didn't get to see him. People were telling me he. Which faction is he in? I didn't get to see chat. I doubt he would be an Ordorf. Hell no. He might be high elves. I thought he would be like barbarian, because it makes sense. Like, but maybe he's orc. Is orc? Because everyone kept talking about Arnold, but I haven't seen Arnold specifically. Does anyone know what faction he's in? Is he in Dark Elf as well? I didn't see him there. Maybe he's in Night Rev? Or is he not in the game yet? I haven't. Everyone keeps talking about him, but I haven't seen him. Is he doing so? Did I miss him? No, I don't see him at all. Anyways, I guess I'll ask people because I haven't. I checked and I haven't seen any Skinwalker. Everyone keeps talking about like. I guess they're saying that the Predator himself is Arnold. I think that's what they mean. But yeah. Anyways, um, I think the what you call it is the orc Gellet? Nah, Gellet. No, this is just a regular orc. Yeah, but I think in terms of the Xenomorph, I think it's one of the craziest. We've got a lot of free characters, right? From Rhonda to UDK. They've done a pretty good job with giving out 5 3-star legendaries and giving the souls. I will say that they've been pumping them out a lot for free with a 5-star blessing, which is crazy. This is one of those characters that is kind of bananas. We're gonna get a 5-star blessing on this champ. If you were like, "Oh, it's not gonna be great for endgame. I can just use Marius." I'm just like, bro, there's a lot of people like myself who don't care about Marius and still don't have one. I think to myself, Xenomorph is gonna be really, really good to speed up some stages, and all I care about is speeding up time, right? Of course, is one of the fastest way to do things, but there's a lot of players out there who are gonna come into the game brand new, right, for the Xenomorph chase, and they're gonna be able to not only get perception, but they're gonna be able to get that 5-star soul. I think this login is different than having like a Deliana or a Loki or an Alice. And Alice was good, but nowhere like Xenomorph is crazy for PvE. Like you'll be able to skyrocket your account if you build everything into Xenomorph. You rush speed, you run 100% crit rate, accuracy, speed, and crit rate. That's it. That's what you rush. You don't even rush attack on this champion if you're like a new player, and you can easily like scugger. Like you could probably save yourself weeks, just weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like with this champ, and then being able to stun and true fear, so he has AOE, technically AOE CC as well. Like it's actually bananas. It's actually bananas. What a crazy legendary. I'm really happy. I think I would give the Xenomorph like a 9 out of 10, honestly. In terms of PvE, it is bananas. Maybe even a 9.5, actually. It's almost perfect. And then the Predator, I like the Predator, he's cool. His A2 is kind of... His A1 is not as good as I wanted it to be. A2 is decent, and the A3 is nuts. And then the whole like evading, of course, like a Mikey or Loki is very, very strong if you get more kills. So it is kind of conditional. But he's a Predator. He's trying to get kills, right? Makes sense. That's why I wish the A1 would have had like something else on the A1. Like it ignores 30% defense or something. Like that would make more sense because he's a Predator. So, but I would give the Predator, honestly, I'd give him like a 8.5, honestly. But you know what? People are gonna probably spam the hell out of that Hunter's Gaze like crazy, resetting the champion probably, bringing perfect veils with other champions like Duchess or what other champion you have to do it. I could definitely see that, right? I just think to myself, I'm just gonna strip that champion, put black buffs on him, and then he's kecked, and I'm gonna. What do you do then, right? You can't have perfect veil in your own champion. You have to cleanse him to put the perfect veils. He has no cleanse. I was thinking that to myself. Why does he have his own little cleanse? So that way he can always be perfect veiled. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about these new champions? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.